Hi everyone and welcome to this tutorial and my first try to work with watercolor, actual paint. And for this tutorial I will be using the paint. It's by Van Gogh, watercolor pencils, and also this liquid, it's a Liquid Masque. And for the paper I will be using the Canson, and that is 300 grams per square meters, and it's I think a good one to start with. And in this case I'm not a practiced watercolor painter yet. So what I will be doing is make a setup with watercolor pencils. So I'm drawing in the outer lines of my ice bear, so later on I can fill this in with the mask liquid, and I will have a free hand to do a kind of abstract surrounding. So I'm focusing on the areas that I do not want to pollute with paint, because I'm a really rookie at that. And the ice bear itself has a kind of long neck, as you can see here, and I see I'm drawing in a mouth and eyes, but it's actually not necessary to get all that detail, because later on we will be drawing in the ice bear once we've drawn or painted the surroundings. But if you're a rookie like me, it is very easy to start out with your watercolor pencils and draw in the object that you want to study, and also a little bit of the surrounding. Now this ice bear is standing on some kind of a cliff, and here for the background I'm just using a few lines to get the idea of some hills in the far distance and maybe some trees. And I'm all setting this up with a dark brown color pencil, but you can use either color you want. So now it's time for that mask liquid, and it's kind of a liquid rubber. So you simply take a brush and then you carefully go into the area that you do not want to get paint in. And this is a liquid that dries very fast. And later on I will demonstrate how to remove that liquid rubber. But what I'm doing here is simply putting in a layer of rubber, and I'm also putting it into the surface of the water, and here on the river bench. And it's simply because I am not a painter at all yet. I hope to be one day. And here I'm also putting in a little bit in the sky, and then I can just splash around with the actual paint. I will not bother you with that too much. It's merely just to get acquainted with the paint itself. It's my first watercolor ever. So you can see I have been splashing over the ice bear, and now I've taken an eraser, and with that eraser you can just go over that mask liquid it's now all dry, of course, and you can just easily erase it from the paper. What you get then is the spaces that are kept clean and white. So now I can work further on this kind of terrible try to paint a surrounding. Now for the ice bear itself, I've gone back to the watercolor pencils, because as I was saying, I'm not a painter at all. And well, an ice bear is white, of course, but there is a lot of color in that fur. So I've taken the dark brown color pencil again. It's kind of a burnt sienna color. And this is the yellow ochre. It's a light brown. And I put that in too. And also dark blue. Now this seems like a strange combination, but once you hit it with the water, it will give a nice iceberry effect. I also apply a little bit of black, but I'm very careful with that, because when you hit that black with the water, it really turns black. So be careful with that pencil. Okay, so I've put my brush into the water, and now I want to, well, actually mix it on the paper. So I do not yet have to go into the actual watercolor paint, but here I am just mixing the pigments that I've put in with the watercolor pencils. We will see how that dries up. And maybe you have those watercolor pencils and you actually think, why is there a white pencil in? Well, this is why. When you get in too dark, you can go over it with the white watercolor pencil, and it also gives a nice effect. Now here I've picked up the actually paint again, and I'm putting some bright blue over the spaces that I've spared out with the liquid masking. And then I just put in a little bit of black, and you can see how you get some reflection, and it just washes out in that water. And here on the left, I'm putting in a little bit extra white for the reflection on the water. And well, maybe you want some more detail. You can always go back to the watercolor pencils, of course, and then put in some more detail. Now here for the sun going down, I put in a little bit of red from the actual paint, and it reflects down into the water. And here, to make the tip of that rock stand out, I put in a little bit of black into the part that should be ground. And then I simply lift that up again with the water, and then I'm just kind of lifting up those pigments. And here I put in a little bit of reflection into the water. That's always a nice effect. Here I'm putting in a little bit of shadow behind the hind paw of our polar bear. And now that the bear itself is kind of dry, I can put in a little bit more black for the shadow parts, and here a little bit underneath the bear itself. And I've zoomed in as much as I could, so you can see the effects. And you can use the white watercolor pencil for lifting up color, but you can also go in really dark and get in some detail for that dark rock that is in front of us. And to make the head pop out, I put in a little bit of black. Be careful with the black. And well, it's not quite a good drawing, but it sure is fun to study this. So, well, I hope you will give it a try. Give it a big like. And here you can see the actual drawing once it was dried up. I hope to see you again in one of my other tutorials. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again in my next tutorial. Take care.